There is a substantial risk of loss associated with trading forex, binary options, stocks, or equities, collectively, asset classes. Only risk capital should be used for trading. Trading in any asset classes is not appropriate for everyone. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. No representation is being made that investors will make profits or will not sustain losses. Before trading in any asset classes, investors should consult with their professional broker, financial advisor, or financial consultant to determine whether trading asset classes is appropriate. Investors who trade in any asset classes should only do so if the capital used for this purpose represents funds that an investor can afford to lose without adversely impacting the investor's lifestyle. No trading strategy or methodology is without risk of loss. No trading strategy is risk-free, and no trading strategy can guarantee profits or freedom from losses. Investors risk losing the cost to execute any transaction, including associated commissions or fees. You should carefully consider whether trading in any asset class is appropriate for you in light of your investment experience and financial resources. Any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. None of the statements or materials in the Auvoria Prime chat rooms constitute a solicitation or recommendation to buy or sell.
Welcome to this episode of GearBox Developer Call, GearBox Monthly Calls. It has been a very long time since there was actually an update about GearBox and what's going on, how GearBox is doing. And there's been, of course, a lot of other products coming to Auvoria, and all of them work. So we decided to get back to GearBox. GearBox is actually the software that I would say got Auvoria where it is today in a big part, because GearBox was the first software that actually started making real money for people on Auvoria's platform. And it's been working ever since. Of course, there's been periods where it's more challenging than people would like to have, but all in all, it's been working really nicely. So in today's call, we will go over some results. We'll go over the settings, the gears, if they have been updated. I will be showing the latest version of the gears, and you can go and check on your GearBox if anything needs to be changed, anything needs to be updated. And of course, I will be also sharing some news about GearBox, what's in store for the future. And we'll also be covering the psychological part of GearBox, because I have been using GearBox myself for a long time. I personally have been with GearBox and with Auvoria actually since almost the beginning. So me and GearBox have a long history. My name is Jaak, by the way, and this live is coming to you from Estonia. This is going to be the first one of many. So let's go dig in with some results, some accounts for you. So you can see here, this is a guy I know. He's a really good guy, and he's been using GearBox for a long time. And this account has been running since June last year. I mean, GearBox actually came alive in 2020, if I remember correctly. Second part of 2020 it was live. And you can see here it has been performing. It had a big jump at the beginning, and it's been going a little bit of a rough ride. If you don't remember, there's been COVID, there's been the Ukraine invasion, and all these things have, of course, had an effect. But all in all, this account has been doing actually really well. Monthly return on average of 4.33% and running since 2022, June. Let's see how the monthly results are. Last month it made 10.5%. Let's look at the last year. As always, there's going to be months where you can have losses, like it was January last year. All the rest of the months were in profit. January, August, so there was a period where this account was not actually running. And let's see, 2022. Oh wow, that's crazy numbers here. Okay, let's look at some other numbers. So now this is also an account been running since July of 2022. And as you can see here, GearBox is a software that can cause some emotions, because there are periods where it will take losses, but it always recovers. And as you can see, the trend has been going up ever since. Average 7.72% per month profit, and drawdown has been around 26% maximum so far. This account stopped last update December 4th. In the last calls there was a tradition of showing one pair data. At this point we are still compiling the data into another broker, because the broker where the accounts were running is not servicing the GearBox accounts anymore. So when this data is moved over to new accounts, I will also be sharing all the one pair data again, so you can pick and choose what pairs to run. And when talking about what are the best pairs to run, we have Euro USD, which has been performing really well. Now this account has been running since November of 2020. Now that's a long time, and it has been making about 2.5% per month, just one pair. And it has been actually quite a smooth ride, I would say. And let's look at also AUD USD, also one of the best pairs that GearBox runs. This one has been doing 3% a month on average, drawdown 22%. And the best pair for GearBox actually is USD CAD. By far, USD CAD has been performing the best when it comes to GearBox, and I believe this has been like that for all the time. So even, let's say if you run only USD CAD, you don't take any other pairs, you just run USD CAD with GearBox, you should have really good results, at least based on past performance. Of course, past performance never guarantees future results, but the numbers are here and they have a story to tell. So monthly return on average has been 5.8%. This account has been running since October of 2020, so that's a really long time. Total gain has been around 470% since the beginning of this account, and it has been doing really nicely. So GearBox is, I would say, the fundamental software that actually started, that helped AP to the level that AP is today. And even today, when there are other products in the lineup, you have Radar, you have Kratos, you have Flash, you have the social trading, you have Crypto Advantage, GearBox is still being used a lot by customers because it simply works, and it's been working for a long time. Now, when it comes to the future of GearBox, there's really good news for you. MT5 version is actually ready. The beta test version is ready, and soon we will start testing it, figuring out what are the optimal settings for it. And it will also include Trend Chaser, a part of Trend Chaser. Some time ago there was talk about having two different softwares, so GearBox and Trend Chaser, and having them work on the same account, so it's like a hedging engine. But in MT5 the hedging engine is going to be built into GearBox. So what it means is that it will be like the sidekick for GearBox. So when GearBox gets into drawdown, which will happen because of the nature of GearBox, it will limit the drawdown by a lot, and it basically will develop into a system that will be taking profits either way. Either if the market goes up or the market goes down, it doesn't matter anymore. As long as the market moves, GearBox will be taking profits. So possibly GearBox in the future will be also good with indices, good with gold, so basically assets that are more volatile, that otherwise would be problematic for GearBox for the long run. Of course, we will be testing it, and I don't have the date yet when it's going to be launched. It will come, and you just have to keep your eye on things to see when the launch is going to be. And what to expect as a user of GearBox. If you are a long-standing user, you already know what GearBox does, how it works, and how it can, challenge you mentally sometimes. I mean, every software, every kind of trading will always actually have an impact on your mental side. It will be playing with your emotions sooner or later with something. Doesn't matter if you're using software, if you're doing manual trading or whatever software you're using, but there are certain intricacies that are different from software to software. And with GearBox, if somebody starts using GearBox now as a new user, you have to have patience. That's the main thing, and actually it applies to all of trading. Have patience. Never raise your risk levels to cosmic heights, because it can get you into trouble. And this applies to softwares. This applies to also manual trading. GearBox, sometimes when the markets are not very volatile, GearBox doesn't take a lot of trades. It can be kind of, I wouldn't say dormant, but it's always analyzing, always, sorry, I have kids in the next room. So as I was saying, when the markets are not very volatile, GearBox might not be very active. And in such situations, people might start getting the itch to increase the risk, or let's say switch from sniper entries to swing entries. And this is not a very good idea, because if you increase your risk, now when the market starts moving and there is like no telling exactly when the market will start moving, you might get into trouble because now the lot size is too big, or it's going into trades too early. Yeah, I also promised to share the latest GearBox entries. So here they are. As you can see, you can make a screenshot of this for yourself and go and check with your GearBox settings to see if those entries are updated for you. Of course, the GearBox Manager has these entries already installed, but just to be on the safe side, it's always a good idea to go and double check. And with GearBox also, when you are using, for example, MyFxBook, and you're using the MyFxBook EA on a separate chart in GearBox, it is very important that when you use GearBox Manager, you either close the chart with MyFxBook before you apply the manager, or you use a pair that can't be traded. Let's say you have a standard account, so you use a raw account symbol. With some brokers it's possible. It's safer, of course, just to close that chart where you have MyFxBook for the time being, because when GearBox Manager runs its thing, it will overwrite all the EAs or anything that you have already applied to the chart. So there have been cases where, let's say MyFxBook is put on a gold chart or some crypto chart, and now GearBox Manager is used and the user doesn't remember anymore that I have also MyFxBook running, then GearBox Manager will be applied with default settings to that chart, and it will of course start trading this asset. So it's always a good idea, if you're using the MyFxBook EA, first to close the chart with MyFxBook EA, apply GearBox Manager, and then reopen the chart and put MyFxBook back to that chart. So let me see if I can, if I have any access to the chat. AP Live. Let's see if there's any questions. And the website is so slow. Okay, let's see, GearBox. Oh, there must be a lot of incoming traffic. Otherwise, okay. Okay, nice. I see the questions now. Somebody asked when there will be news about GearBox updates. It's difficult to say right now when it will happen. Tyler is very busy all the time. That's also one of the reasons why I took over the calls from you. Sorry, that's also one of the reasons why I took over the calls from Tyler. I will get back to him. I will ask him. And of course, when there is any news about it, I will let everybody know. And if you're watching this on YouTube as a recording, of course, you can leave questions in the comments also. And I will be looking over the comments before the next time, which is going to be in a month's time. So, that's almost it from me today. One thing I want to say in the end is that some people run GearBox with very customized settings, and the reason why they do it is they want to have high profits. Trading gold, for example, or indices with GearBox, it's possible, but you have to be aware of the risks that you are taking if you are running GearBox with settings that are not, how to say, recommended or standardized by GearBox developers. So just be aware of those risks, because it might be a party for half a year, 3 months, and then you might get a margin call, or you might lose a part of your account because you really didn't understand what the settings will cause if you're running it on pairs that are not really optimized for GearBox. So yeah, be careful when you are using GearBox with non-standardized settings. That's it from me. I hope you have a good month. And the year actually has already started pretty well off. So until next time.